Welcome to today's video on dehydrating apples, which is my favorite way to preserve them for long-term storage. And if you have even one medium-sized apple tree, you know how overwhelming it can be to deal with large crops of apples. You just hate to waste them. Before I start picking, I like to pick up those apples on the ground that have already fallen and start with a clean slate. That way when I'm picking and apples drop to the ground, I'll know that I can likely still use them and I don't have to sort through the bad from the good. Now you can use any apple variety for dehydrating, but the variety here for our example is State Fair. It's a striped red, juicy, and moderately tart apple, also good for fresh eating and cooking. For dehydrating, my recommendation is to always use fresh apples from your own trees, neighbors, friends, or farmers markets. Once I've got a batch picked, it's a good idea to wash the apples, and I love these green gloves you see here, veggie gloves. I use them for everything we harvest, carrots, potatoes, you name it. It's a cool scrubby that fits on your hand and then really speeds up the process. Okay, the peeler, slicer gadget you see here, what a great invention. And if you plan on doing quite a bit of dehydrating, this is a tool that you're definitely going to want to have. You can find basic models like this for around $30 to $40, but there are models available for over $500. I'm just not sure what you'll gain by spending the extra money. Okay, not only does this tool speed up the process, you also get a nice uniform slicing size. And that's important for dehydrating your batch of apples as they'll all finish up at about the same time. When hand cutting, you might end up with some slices too thick and some too thin, leading to different stages of dried fruit. But this tool also will peel if that's your choice. It's personal preference, but I like to leave the peelings on. I think it adds to the flavor. Many sources you'll come across also suggest dipping your slices in lemon juice after cutting to avoid that browning. But personally, I could care less if you get that natural discoloring. Cinnamon and other spices are also commonly suggested depending on your taste. My wife and I have been using this Excalibur dehydrator now for many years and we really like it. This is a 9-tray model with stainless steel trays, but I believe plastic trays are more standard now on many models. It's got great air circulation and an even temperature that ranges between 105 and 165 degrees Fahrenheit. We usually set the drying temperature at around 135 degrees for 6 hours and then check them. On average then, I find it takes around 30 medium-sized apples to completely fill up the dehydrator for a batch. When purchasing, you also get a really nice guide that shows best temperature and drying times for hundreds of different foods. When done, they should feel leathery, pliable, and dry with no stickiness or moisture. And now for the long-term storage part of the process. Since I'm not a big fan of plastic, nearly everything we dehydrate goes into jars and then gets vacuum sealed. Not all vacuum sealers have this option, so make sure you check to see if it has an accessory port to connect an external hose. And you may also have to purchase the jar sealing kit separately. Whenever we preserve food by water bath or pressure canning, we always use new lids. But then we save those used lids and I use them for this vacuum sealing process. I started doing this type of vacuum sealing with jars about 8 years ago, and with only a couple of exceptions, all the jars have held their seals over the years. To start, I put the lids in some boiling water to soften up that seal point, pack those jars, and then dry off the lid and then start the sealing process. The owner's manual will give you a guide as to the setting and duration, but it usually takes around 20 to 30 seconds per jar. My machine shuts off automatically when it's finished, so I disconnect the hose, pop off the sealing gadget, and then I just check to make sure it's sealed by holding it up by the lid. It's a good idea to label your finished dehydrated products. I just use some cheap, easy peeling masking tape and then store them in a dark location in a crawl space under our steps. And this process is not just for apples. We also dehydrate pears, peppers, various herbs, as well as many nuts that we purchase in bulk. And the average year-round temperature in this area is around 65 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm Kevin, by the way. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.